Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a crossbody style messenger bag that's perfect for Valentine's Day. For this project, you're going to need two different colors of yarn, a 5mm hook, a 3.75mm hook, and some scissors. The heart grid pattern, so that you can follow along, is linked in the description box below. So for the starting part of our bag, we're going to start with the front panel. And we're going to start off by chaining 21. Once we chain 21, we're going to skip 2 stitches. And we're going to turn our work and start half double crocheting until the end of our row. So to start off row 2, we're going to pull through all of the loops on our last half double crochet, and we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. Next, we're going to start off by doing 9 half double crochets. Once you reach your 10th stitch, we're going to do our bobble. To do the bobble stitch, you're going to act like you're doing a double crochet, but instead of pulling through your second set of 2 loops, you're going to keep them on your hook every single time. And so you should be gaining a loop every time you are doing your bobble. So you want to go and keep doing that until you have 5 loops on your hook, and then once you go over to your next stitch, you're going to pull through all of the loops on your hook. So we just pull through all of the loops on our hook, and then you start half double crocheting like normal once you do that. After our bobble stitch, we're just going to half double crochet until we reach the end of the row. Once you reach the end of your row, we're going to pull through all of our loops for our very last half double crochet and chain 2 and turn our work.
then we're going to chain 2 and turn our work, and we're going to do half double crochets all the way until the end of this row.
So for this row, we're going to start off with 7 half double crochets. We're going to do a bobble, 3 half double crochets, a bobble, and then we're going to do half double crochets until the end of the row. I'm going to show you how to do a bobble one more time. So you want to yarn over and then put your hook through the hole. And then you want to grab that yarn, pull through 2 loops, and then to get another one you want to yarn over and put your hook through the hole, grab that yarn, and pull through 2 loops, and every time you do this you're gaining a loop on your hook. So we want to go until we have 5 loops on our hook. And then when you're done, you want to pull through all of the loops, and then you want to yarn over and do a normal half double crochet, and that ends off your bobble stitch. So for row 5, you're going to start off by chaining 2, and you're going to turn your work, and then you're just going to half double crochet until you reach the end of your row. So for row 6, you're going to start off by chaining 2, and then you're going to turn your work, and then you're going to do 5 half double crochets. After you do your 5 half double crochets, you're going to do a bobble, 7 half double crochets, a bobble, and then you're going to half double crochet until the end of your row. So for row 7, we're going to start off by chaining 2 and turning our work, and then after you chain 2 and turn your work, you're just going to half double crochet until you reach the end of your row again. Next, we're moving on to row 8, and for row 8, we're going to start off by chaining 2 and turning our work, then we're going to do 3 half double crochets, a bobble, 11 half double crochets, a bobble, and then we're going to half double crochet until we reach the end of our row. Row 9 is another in-between row, so we're just going to do 2 chains, and then we're going to half double crochet until the end of our row again. So to start off row 10, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to turn our work, and we're going to do 1 half double crochet, a bobble, 15 half double crochets, a bobble, and then we're going to half double crochet until the end of our row, but there should only be 1 half double crochet, on the other end, like how we started off. So you should have a total of 15 half double crochets, and then after your 15 half double crochets you should add a bobble, and then you'll have one more half double crochet after that, and you'll be at the very end of your row. For row 11, we're just going to chain 2 and then half double crochet all the way across until we reach the end of the row. So row 12 is going to be a complete repeat of row 10, and you'll notice that in between row 10 and row 12 there's row 11, and row 11 is where we had our complete row of half double crochets. So for this row, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work, and then we're going to half double crochet all the way across until the end of the row. So for row 14, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. Then we're going to do 1 half double crochet, a bobble after that, 7 half double crochets, a bobble, 7 half double crochets, another bobble, and then 1 half double crochet. So this is what it should look like after you complete that row. You should have a stitch in the middle and your 2 stitches on the side. So row 15 is just going to be another row of half double crochets across. So you're going to chain 2 and half double crochet until the end of your row. So for row 16, we're going to start off with chaining 2 to turn our work. We'll do 1 half double crochet, a bobble, 5 half double crochets, a bobble, and then 3 half double crochets, a bobble, 5 half double crochets, a bobble, and then 1 half double crochet. So basically it mirrors itself after the 3 half double crochets in the middle. For row 17, we're going to chain 2 and then half double crochet until the end of our row. So for this row, we're going to start off with chaining 2 to turn. We're going to do 3 half double crochets, a bobble, and then we're going to do 1 half double crochet, a bobble, 7 half double crochets, a bobble, 1 half double crochet, a bobble, and then 3 half double crochets to end off the row. So after you end off that row, you should see your heart shape, and this is what that heart shape should look like. After I complete the heart shape, I'm going to chain 2 more rows of half double crochets, and that's going to be row 19 and row 20. They're just going to be half double crochets only. So this is what your square should look like after you finish adding those last 2 rows. Another thing you can do with these squares is if you want the baubles to be more visible, you can change the colors so that there's a contrast. But this is what it should look like, and you want to make 2 of these. You want to repeat that twice. So this is what it should look like once you complete both squares. These 2 squares are going to act as our front flap for our messenger bag, and we're going to slip stitch the 2 of these squares together. So we're going to fold the 2 squares together, and we're going to slip stitch them on the sides. So you want to make sure that they're both facing the same way, like almost like a sandwich. You want the hearts to be sandwiched in between, and you want to start slip stitching from the corner. So now we're going to be switching to our 3.75mm crochet hook. Previously I was using a 5mm crochet hook. The smaller crochet hook I feel like makes the slip stitching look a lot cleaner, so it's not as bumpy. So what you want to do is you want to grab the 2 corners, and you want to make sure the corners are aligned. You want your stitches to be aligned so that once you get to the end of your row, all of your stitches are lined up. So you want to grab your red yarn, and you want to pull it through both of your loops, both the back and front loops, and then you want to chain 1. Next, you want to put your hook through both the front and the back loops again. And then you want to pull them all the way through, and that's going to count as a slip stitch. So then we're going to go through the front and the back again, both panels. We're going to pull them all the way through, and then that's going to count as a slip stitch. Front and the back. And then we want to grab the yarn and pull all the way through all 3 of those loops, and then that's going to count as a slip stitch. And you want to keep putting it through and then pulling through all 3 loops on your hook until you reach the end of the 2 panels. Once you reach the end of the row, you want to slip stitch, and then you want to chain 1 and fasten off your work. So there's the chain. So this is what it should look like after you have slip stitched both of your pieces together. So next we're going to get our 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, and this is what we're going to be working on the rest of our project with. So we're going to get our yarn and we're going to chain 42. The last 2 chains on that 42 are going to act as a turning chain. Once you're at the end of your chain of 42, you're going to want to skip 2 loops from your hook, and into that 3rd loop from your hook you're going to want to do half double crochets. You're going to want to half double crochet until the end of your row. Once you reach the end of your row, you're going to want to chain 2 and then turn your work, and then for the following row you're going to want to half double crochet until the end of that row. You're going to repeat this pattern of chaining 2, turning your work, and half double crocheting for a total of 5 rows. So once you finish that, this is what it should look like. So you want to make 2 of these. You want to make one for the top and one for the bottom. And please keep in mind that this is what it should look like after using your 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. So next we're going to start doing the short sides for the side paneling, and we're still going to be using our 3.75 millimeter hook. So you're going to want to take your red yarn and you're going to want to chain 38. So the last 2 stitches on that chain of 38 are going to count as turning stitches, just like with the rest of the project. And so in your 3rd stitch from the hook, you're going to do half double crochets until the end of the row. Once you reach the end of the row, you're going to want to chain 2 and turn your work. The chaining 2 and turning your work is going to set up the next row, and you're going to want to repeat what you did for your long panels for 5 rows as well. This means half double crocheting until the end of your row, chaining 2, turning your work, half double crocheting until the end of your row, chaining 2, and turning your work. So after you finish making all your pieces, you should have a total of 4. You should have 2 long pieces for the top and bottom of your bag and 2 short pieces for the sides of your bag. For the front panel of your bag, you'll have your hearts, of course, so you should have a total of 5 pieces so far. The next piece we're going to work on is the inside piece and our back piece. So the inside and back pieces are going to be the same. Both of them are going to look like this. So you're going to start off with a foundation chain of 42, just like with the bottom and top panels. And then the last 2 chains on your chain of 42, you're going to skip those 2 chains and start half double crochet in the 3rd chain until you reach the end of the row. You're going to chain 2, turn your work, and repeat the pattern of chaining 2 and turning your work until you reach row 28. Once you reach row 28, fasten off at the top. You want to make 2 of these.
So this is what that's going to look like. We're going to do 42 stitches. Once you get to the end of that 42, the last 2 stitches right here are going to count as half double crochet, so you're going to want to put your hook in the 3rd stitch, just like with our other panels. And we're going to go through and do a half double crochet until the end of that row. Then once we reach the end of the row, we're going to chain 2,
turn our work, half double crochet until the end of the row, chain 2, and repeat the pattern. So these are all of our pieces. We should now have 7 pieces: our inside and back panels, the 4 of our side panels, and our front panels. The next part of our process is going to be chaining these together, not slip stitching, but chaining them so that the contrast between the 2 colors we're using is visible. Next, you're going to want to align your 2 pieces you're going to be chaining together, and you're going to want to get your 3.75mm crochet hook. And then you're going to want to get whatever yarn you're going to be using as a contrast, and you're going to want to put your 3.75mm crochet hook through both of the 2 pieces at the corner. Next, you want to put your crochet hook through the 2 panels and pull that yarn through. You're going to want to chain 1, then you're going to want to go through the 2 panels again. You're going to pull that yarn through, and you're going to chain 1, and you're going to go through the 2 panels again, pull that yarn through, and chain 1, and you're going to keep doing that until you reach the end of the 2 panels and they're chained together. So this is what it should look like. So once you reach the end of the row, you want to grab one of your bottom pieces, and we're going to chain the shorter end of that bottom piece to your side piece. So you're going to align the 2 pieces together, and then you're going to put your hook through both pieces, and you're going to chain until you reach the end of the side of that bottom piece. So once you put that piece together, you're going to have a little corner almost, and you're going to want to start chaining where it meets on the outside of the bag. So you can see that line across the bottom. We're going to turn it over, and we're going to grab our white yarn, and we're going to align the two pieces like we did with the side. And we're going to put our hook through both pieces and chain all the way until we meet the other side of the bag. Personally, I started from the end where the two pieces already met at, and I chained all the way until I reached the other side where the other piece hadn't been attached yet, starting from that little corner right there. So this is what it should look like once you have the bottom panel attached. So next we're going to attach our other short side piece, and we're going to align it with where the corner edge of the bottom part is, and we're going to put our hook through both pieces again, and we're going to chain until we reach the end of that corner piece. So next we're going to attach the other part of that side panel to the big piece, and we're going to put our hook through the corner, and we're going to chain along all the way until we reach the end, just like we did with the other parts. Now that we have 3 of our 4 side panels attached, this is what it should look like. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on adding the other panel that's just like the one that's on the back. So this is going to be our inside panel of our messenger bag, but this is what the inside with all of the pieces attached should look like before you add that other side of your messenger bag. So here's our other inside panel, and what we're going to do is we're going to chain it to the sides of our messenger bag. So it's going to be chained along the edges on each side all the way around until we get to the other corner. So you would just chain it together just like we did with all the other sides. And after you finish chaining it all together, it should look like this. So you should have a pouch now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach our top panel, or the hinge panel, that connects to our front flap. So you're going to attach it the same way you attach the other pieces, except you're only going to attach the back side of it. You're not going to attach it on the sides, only on the back. So we're going to align the panel with the back inside panel, and we're going to chain it all the way across just like we did with all of our other panels. We're just not going to attach the shorter sides. So this is what it should look like when you've put it together. It should go all the way across, but the sides should not be connected. So next we want to attach our front panel with the design on it to that middle panel, that middle like folding hinge piece. So you're going to want to align it with the other side that wasn't connected, and you're going to want to go from corner to corner, chaining along between the two of them like we did with the other pieces. So make sure you're connecting it to that middle piece and not the front inside piece. So you're going to want to attach it and chain along. Something you might notice when you're chaining the two pieces together is that the front design piece doesn't exactly appear to align with that middle piece. But that's nothing to worry about, because once you start chaining along, it'll start to line up. It's just that way because we used a different hook size for the front. You just want to keep going until you reach the end of that middle piece. So after you put that front piece onto the middle piece, this is what it should look like. Now all of our pieces are connected, and this is what it should look like currently. You can kind of see that messenger bag shape now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding a border. So starting with that middle piece that we didn't add the white to the sides to, I'm going to chain just like we did with chaining the two pieces together. I'm going to chain along that side with my other color so that it matches. But keep in mind that while we do this, we're not chaining two pieces together. We're simply just chaining along the edges so that it all matches and seams together. So this is what it should look like after you add the single crochets or single chains along both sides at the top where that bending or like hinge panel is, that top panel. Something else that's also optional that I went ahead and did was adding the single crochets or chains along the border of the inside where the hole of the bag is, just to add like a nice touch to it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the shell stitch to the border of the bag. So to start your shell stitch, you want to put your hook through and you want to get your off color or white color yarn, and you want to pull it through only that front piece, that front panel. And so you want to put it all the way through, and you're going to want to chain 1, and then you're going to want to skip a stitch, and then in the stitch after the one you skipped, you're going to put 5 double crochets. So you're going to wrap it around your hook, pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 more loops, and then you're going to wrap it over your hook and put it through that same stitch, pull through 2 loops, wrap it over your hook, pull through 2 loops, wrap it over your hook, pull through 2 loops, and you're going to keep doing that until you reach 5. And then once you reach 5 double crochets in the same stitch, you're going to skip a stitch, and then you're going to chain 1 again, and then you're going to skip another stitch, and you're going to chain 5 double crochets after the stitch you skipped. So you're going to grab the yarn and pull it through, pull through 2, pull through 2. You're going to wrap it around, grab the yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2. Grab the yarn, wrap it around, pull through 2, pull through 2. You would keep going until you reach 5 double crochets. You'd skip a stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, and chain another set of 5 double crochets, and you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around the border until you reach the other side with the other corner. After you finish putting your border along the edges of the front panel, this is what it should look like. So this is essentially what your bag should look like once you finish connecting all of the pieces together. You'll notice that you still have the loose edges to be weaved in. So there are two ways you can go about this. You can pull them in. What I like to do is I like to pull them into the middle and then weave them in on the inside so that the weaving isn't visible on the outside of the bag. If you want, instead of weaving them in, once you pull them into the inside, you can add a lining so that you don't have to worry about tying in and weaving in every little piece that's loose. But if you want to go about pulling them into the inside and weaving them in, this is how you would do it. You'd pull it in and then you turn your bag inside out and you'd find where the piece was that you pulled it in, and then you'd pull it through whatever loops you can on the inside, and then you trim the string so that it's not loose. Unless you want to add a lining, then you just add the lining, pull them all through from the outside and add the lining onto the inside. And we can see now that it's no longer visible on the outside. So once you finish weaving in all of the pieces on the bottom part of the bag, this is about what it should look like. You'll notice though that at the top there still are loose ends on the top flap of the bag. And so you essentially just weave them in the same way you weaved in the inside pieces. You try to pull them through whatever area you can to make them appear as hidden as possible. So now that little piece is hidden, and you can do the same with the white pieces along the edges. You can weave it into the scalloping, like the shell. So this is what it's going to look like after you have everything weaved in. Everything should be nice and tucked in, and there should be no visible string. So the next part is going to be adding the straps. So to attach the straps, I like to attach it from the inside. So I'll insert my hook in any random loop on the inside, and I'll attach my yarn, and I'll crochet a line along a line of loops within the inside of the bag on the side panel. So we're gonna single crochet or chain along whatever loops we can get through on the inside and try to make it as straight as possible. I like to do it this way because it allows for the outside stitching, the white stitching, to be visible. So once you've chained wide enough along the inside that it's the width of the strap that you want, you're gonna just basically chain 2 to go to the next row and turn your work, and then chain along those stitches you made on the inside, and eventually it will kind of become its own piece and start to form a strap. The entire strap is being done in single chains or single crochets. This way when you put things in your bag, it won't stretch or deform too much. For the length of the strap, you can go and keep chaining and turning your work and making chains until you get it to the length that you like. Personally, I go until it's long enough to be a crossbody bag. So once you finish crocheting your bag strap and you get it to the length that you want it to be, the next and very last step of making this bag is going to be attaching it to the other side. So you're going to want to, once again, right below the white part, you're going to want to slip stitch this time the red to red. So the red strap to the red part of the inside of that side panel on the bag. So you're going to insert your hook through both pieces, and you're going to get your red yarn, or the yarn that's attached to your strap already, and you're going to pull through both of those pieces of fabric. You're going to pull through the strap, and you're going to pull through the inside of your bag paneling. We're pulling through the inside loops on the bag paneling and the strap, just slip stitching it together. So this is what your finished bag should look like. You might notice that along the sides I didn't totally weave in all of the ends, but that's because personally I'm going to add a lining to the inside. But if you're not adding a lining, I would recommend weaving in those ends, of course. This is what the inside of my bag looked like after I added the lining.